breakthrough reports to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, investigators deem the Robbins Lumber Mill fire and explosion in Searsmont as an accident. We'll bring you the details coming up.
Plus, Maine Health Waldo Hospital has been recognized for their pediatric care. We'll have more on that ahead.
And the town of Searsport will be transforming their wharf after a series of damaging storms.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us. We'll have those stories and more coming up. We're glad that you're joining us today. We have a lot to tell you about.
We sure do.
But we're going to kick things off. Oh, let me get rid of my coffee cup out of there. They'll get mad at me.
Greg.
Yeah, sorry, Will. I apologize. All right, but first, a check of that forecast. Yesterday, beautiful day.
It was, and today it seems like it's going to be a nice day again, nice and sunny.
We had our On the Road show in Searsport last night. I got to do the 6 o'clock news down there, and it was just a beautiful drive down the coast.
Oh, I bet.
So if you could get out and enjoy it, do it, because today will be another nice day.
Definitely. We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. This morning, we have a little bit of energy passing through, bringing with it a few rain showers. We are getting those out of here, and we will be on the dry side as we do push forward today. As we do zoom things out, the rest of the Northeast looking pretty good. Some rain showers, though, and a few thunderstorms as you head farther down toward the south. As we do take a look at things with Futurecast, we are going to become partly cloudy. Notice a little bit of rain farther off towards the north, but partly cloudy for us today. And again, looking farther down in time, we are going to watch for a little bit of rain later on overnight and as we head towards your Thursday. As for gusty winds, we are going to reach up to about 25 miles per hour today. The winds are going to back off later on tonight, and as we head towards tomorrow, the winds are going to increase yet again. So for today, low 80s, partly cloudy and breezy, and that northwest wind reaching up to about 25 miles per hour. Later on tonight, upper 40s, mostly cloudy, rain showers, north breeze at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. The hourly forecast moving forward, here we go, a partly to possibly mostly cloudy sky, temperatures in the 70s and 80s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Looks fantastic. Thank you very much. We'll see you later on, Devin. Well, investigators have ruled the fire and explosion at the Robbins Lumber Mill as accidental. Investigators say they believe the fire originated in the area of the unloader mechanism, which is in the base of the silo. They say before the fire suppression system could fully contain the smoldering fire, a rapid ignition of suspended particulate material resulted in an explosion within the silo itself. Basically, what they're saying is that a bunch of sawdust caught fire and eventually exploded. Investigators determined during the explosion, the silo lifted from its concrete base, releasing large amounts of sawdust and additional material. They say the silo then toppled over, at which point the surrounding area rapidly became engulfed in fire. According to investigators, that fire then spread to adjacent buildings within the mill complex. And a spokesperson for the State Fire Marshal's office says the investigation is not over. She says it will remain open and officials will return in coming months for more detailed examinations.
Meanwhile, one person is dead after a crash in Glenburn on Tuesday morning. At around 10:15, the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office responded to reports of a serious two-vehicle crash. It happened at the intersection of Route 221 and the Pushaw Road.
Two vehicles were involved. We had a pickup with a trailer that was headed north and another vehicle headed south. The other vehicle took a left turn and they collided.
The sheriff's office says the passenger of the small SUV was taken to the hospital but died during transport. The driver of the SUV was then taken to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The two occupants of the truck received minor injuries and were released at the scene. The cause of the crash remains under investigation.
Well, police are also investigating a deadly accident in Dover Foxcroft. Police say it was about noon on Tuesday when they were called to Route 7. Two vehicles had collided and a passenger in one of those vehicles was discovered to be deceased. Authorities are not releasing information on the others involved, including their identities. They say that information will be released as that investigation into the crash continues.
Well, the murder trial for a man accused of killing a Bangor woman got underway yesterday. 44-year-old Richard Thorpe is accused of killing 39-year-old Virginia Cookson of Bangor. She was found dead inside of her home at 200 Larkin Street in September of 2024. According to the affidavit, two of Cookson's coworkers from the Quality Inn went to her residence after she didn't show up for work. The document says they found her in a downstairs bedroom covered with a blanket. According to the affidavit, one of the coworkers touched her exposed foot and it felt cold. The document says when authorities arrived, they found a cord wrapped around Cookson's neck, and the affidavit cites that sources close to Cookson who told police Thorpe was her ex-boyfriend and Thorpe had allegedly been abusive in the past.
A Bangor man is facing domestic violence assault charges after a family gathering turned violent over the weekend. Police were called to an Essex Street apartment for a reported family fight just before 11 p.m. on May 22nd. When officers arrived, they learned 3 people had allegedly been injured by 32-year-old Ryan Martin of Bangor. A spokesperson for the Bangor Police Department says Martin had left the scene prior to officers arriving. The spokesperson says officers located Martin just after 6:30 a.m. on May 23rd and then placed him under arrest. He's being charged with 3 counts of domestic violence assault.
Well, in other news this morning, Maine Forest Rangers were busy with a wildfire in Piscataquis County over the weekend. They were called to Township 4, Range 13 on Sunday for a wildfire that had already burned approximately 10 acres. A spokesperson says fire personnel on the ground and in the air support stopped it from growing at 25 acres. The spokesperson says it is currently being monitored for interior hotspots, but there's no threat to the public or any structures. Rangers are investigating what started that fire.
A proposed citizens initiative regarding girls' sports and sex-segregated school facilities has now been blocked from appearing on the November ballot. Secretary of State Shenna Bellows has upheld the recommendation from her office that the initiative be invalidated due to it lacking enough valid signatures. The decision comes shortly after a 2-day hearing stemming from a lawsuit challenging the signatures. According to Bellows, of the more than 8,000 petition forms filed, 67,150 signatures were deemed valid and 12,542 signatures were deemed invalid, roughly 500 short of the valid signatures required to get it on the ballot. The Secretary of State's office determined out-of-state circulators failed to witness registered voters signing petition forms, and other signatures were signed by people pretending to be that person.
We take the integrity of the petition process just as seriously as we take the security of the voting process. Everyone involved must follow the law. Unfortunately, in this case, at least 2 out-of-state circulators failed to follow Maine law, and that is why their petitions have been invalidated.
The initiative was spearheaded by Protect Girls Sports in Maine and would mandate that sports participation and use of facilities align with the sex on the student's birth certificate. The organization shared a statement with us saying the Protect Girls Sports in Maine committee disagrees with the decision and they are working to challenge it. The decision is final pending appeal, which must be submitted within 10 days of that determination.
Governor Janet Mills joined the Maine Coalition Against Sexual Assault and other officials at St. Joseph Hospital on Tuesday to celebrate funding for statewide sexual assault kit tracking systems. The event highlighted the efforts of lawmakers and partners who helped make the funding possible. Governor Mills signed the budget into law last month and spoke about how the new systems will help victims of sexual assault.
Bolstered funding for sexual assault services so that every survivor can get help. 1-800 lines and on-the-spot support services.
Advocates for the program say it will give survivors more transparency about where their evidence kit is in the process following that exam. In 2024, St. Joseph partnered with the coalition on an 18-month pilot program to track and keep inventory of the kits, which helped inform this year's statewide expansion.
Registered nurses at Holton Regional Hospital began their 4-day strike against the hospital management yesterday. Nurses had reached an agreement with the hospital to increase RN staffing to 3 nurses at all times in the emergency department. That agreement was made back in May of 2025, but they claim the new management is not honoring that agreement. Holton Regional Hospital nurses say they have been negotiating for over a year and a half for a new contract, their last one expiring in November of 2024. We reached out to the hospital for comment, but have not yet received a response.
A Central Maine medical facility is being recognized for its commitment to providing top-level care to some of its smallest patients. Our Alex Schley tells us what this recognition means for the medical center and the community that it serves.
Tuesday, Maine Health Waldo Hospital became the first medical center in the county to receive a pediatric readiness designation. The recognition is part of the EMS department's Always Ready for Children Improvement Project, which aims to ensure patients receive the same high-quality care across the state.
Any parent or guardian of a child that brings a patient into an emergency room never wants to hear, "We do okay care." They want to hear that we do the best care.
The program evaluates facilities through a three-step process led by the Pediatric Emergency Care Coordinator.
This survey shows that if you score above an 88 out of 100, and Waldo scored above 94 out of 100, that the evidence suggests that you are better at caring for children. So you have a true reduction in mortality.
Hospitals that receive the designation must also meet standards including having pediatric size equipment, specialized training, improved pediatric quality measures, and disaster preparedness. State Senator Chip Curry says it's important for Waldo County families to know their children can receive high-quality emergency care close to home.
Realities of rural hospitals is they don't see a lot of critical child emergencies, and so when they do, they've got to be on, and so that means a lot of training, a lot of preparation, a lot to be ready for those situations when they're serving children.
Maine EMS for Children Program Manager Mark Minkler says several other hospitals across the state are currently working towards earning their own pediatric readiness designation, and he is confident more facilities will soon reach that benchmark. In Belfast, Alex Schley for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, the time now is 6:12. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, members of the Waldo County community came together to vote on the RSU 71 budget. More on that ahead.
But first, another check of that forecast. Another beautiful day ahead today. Partly cloudy and breezy with highs near 81 degrees. Mostly cloudy with a chance of rain showers tonight. Lows dropping down to the upper 40s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with rain. Highs around 63 degrees. We'll be right back.
Got old metal and junk cars? Turn that clutter into cash at Daddy and Daughters. We make recycling easy, fast, and fair. From Skowhegan to Dover Foxcroft, from Troy to Lee, you can trust our certified scales and friendly service, offering top prices for junk vehicles in Maine. Whether you drop off or we pick up, Daddy and Daughters covers Central and Eastern Maine. Come see us at one of our 4 locations and watch your scrap pay off. Daddy and Daughters turn scrap into cash.
Davis Brothers Furniture is expanding. At Davis Brothers, we've always strived to stand out from the rest, and we are now proud to offer flooring for your home, featuring both carpeting and luxury vinyl flooring. We even have an installer in-house with over 30 years of experience. Come see the reason people have been traveling from all over the state and beyond to Davis Brothers Furniture in Guilford for decades. Davis Brothers Furniture, deliberately different, delivering statewide.
ABC's David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. More Americans watch World News Tonight with David Muir than any other newscast.
Lying, cheating, stealing. I don't believe a word coming out of your mouth. Shoving and punching and fighting. At that moment, it was on.
You're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy.
On ABC7.
Yesterday, the Maine DOT closed the Taconic Bridge in Waterville to all traffic, and it will be closed through the month of June. According to the Maine DOT, the bridge will be closed for construction that requires access to the entire bridge. During this time, pedestrians will not be allowed to transit the bridge. The Maine DOT says that vehicle traffic will be detoured south to the Carter Memorial Bridge, and pedestrian traffic will be detoured north to the 2 Cent Bridge. The bridge will reopen to both eastbound and westbound vehicle traffic on June 29th. The DOT noted that single-lane closures and nightly full closures may be required throughout the summer and fall to complete construction of that new bridge.
Good news for drivers. Gas prices have fallen 4.9 cents a gallon over the past week. That's according to Gas Buddy's survey of more than 1,200 stations around the state. The average price is $4.46 a gallon. That's 27.5 cents a gallon higher than a month ago and $1.42 a gallon higher than a year ago at this time.
Meanwhile, some members of the Waldo County community came together last night for a vote on the RSU 71 budget. The district, which includes the towns of Belfast, Belmont, Searsmont, Swanville, and Morrill, is seeing a 2.7% increase in their upcoming budget. The total amount is over $33 million.
I would say the prior year budget, we had an 8% increase, so which was higher than most of the other people. So this is more in line with traditionally 5%.
4 of the towns in the district are seeing an increase between 4 and 5% in terms of budget payments, but due to an increase in property valuation, those in Swanville are nearing a 13% increase. Taxpayers say it's a massive concern.
I'm very concerned about my elderly who are not going to be able to pay their taxes. It's just going to go up. Everyone's is going to go up.
Locals passed all 24 articles preliminary. The official vote for the budget will be held on June 9th.
The Searsport Town Wharf may soon be going through a major transformation. Like many coastal communities, Searsport sustained major infrastructure damage from the back-to-back storms at the end of 2023 and in early 2024. According to Town Manager James Gilway, the town has obtained a spending grant that was sponsored by Senator Susan Collins and Angus King. He says that they plan to invest the money into the wharf to make it more resilient and vibrant.
Not just repair it, but make it a little bit more of a marina setting so that more pleasure boaters and commercial vessels can use it a little bit easier.
Gilway says they hope to begin working on that project by the end of this year. Some good news for the folks in Searsport.
That'll be a nice little refresh.
Yeah.
The time now is 6:17. After the break, we'll learn more about the chemical tank rupture in Washington State and how it's impacting residents.
Plus, Main Street in Searsport is undergoing a transformation. We'll have the details on that as Good Morning Maine rolls along.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
For 20 years, Graham Plattner has shared his hateful and bigoted beliefs online. Police officers who keep us safe, Plattner says they're all bastards. Black people, Plattner insults them and says they don't tip. And if you dare disagree with Graham Plattner, he calls you retarded and a fag. 20 years of nonstop bigotry and hate from Graham Plattner. Read it yourself at bigotedplattner.com. Pine Tree Results Pack is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Experience unparalleled comfort and restful sleep with the Z-Cliner by FlexSteel, a scientifically proven bed alternative designed with your sleep in mind. Built with FlexSteel's patented blue steel spring for exceptional comfort and support. Featuring high-performance fabric and pressure point relief zones, the Z-Cliner is a perfect family chair by day and the best place for restful sleep by night.
Welcome back, everyone. The Searsport community says Main Street is undergoing a vibrant transformation with new businesses and beautification efforts bringing energy and a renewed sense of community to the area.
Our Grace Blanchard shares more.
It's come a long way. It actually has new life.
It's been nearly 1 year since construction wrapped up on the town of Searsport's multi-million-dollar Route 1 reconstruction project.
It was needed forever ago, but it looks beautiful. So we're really hoping that it invites people from away.
Since then, the area has started to see a boost in business.
It's rejuvenated us. It's if you look downtown, empty storefronts are filling up.
The renewed energy has also pushed beautification efforts back at the forefront, led by the team of volunteers on the new enhancement committee.
We didn't want to do what every other town does that's beautiful with the flowers and the flags. We thought, what could we do that was different?
And then I thought, oh, well, what about weather vanes?
On every downtown pole, you can now find a copper weather vane designed to capture the community's past and present.
I think people are really excited to see all of the things that are taking place. The plants, the copper weather vanes. I think it just makes everyone feel really good about the town.
Gilway says long-term, they hope to address parking challenges and affordable housing options. He says the growth of downtown is much more than new storefronts.
It's not just filling the stores with businesses. We're filling the stores with businesses who care about Searsport, and they're walking away with a sense of belonging.
In Searsport, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Some nice things are happening at Searsport. I was at Maine Coast Brewing Company on Main Street last night. Good example of that. They it was their night off. They're usually closed Tuesday.
Okay.
But they opened it up for us so we could do our newscast.
Oh, that's so nice.
And they packed the bar. People came in. Maybe it was because they heard it was open,
right,
maybe. but they went in there.
so
But you could tell that they really cared about the place, and the folks that
absolutely.
own it care about the people in the town too.
Definitely.
So.
There's already been so many things that they've done to that Main Street area to improve it, so I'm excited to see what's next.
Keep it coming.
Now let's get a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. Wave height's not looking too bad at around 3 to 4 feet, a little bit higher further off towards the north and east, but no advisories in effect for us at this moment in time. A little bit higher further out towards sea at around 4 to 5 feet, but overall the ocean behaving this morning. Meanwhile, as we do check things out, again, the rain tapering off. We are going to be dry today, partly cloudy, a little bit breezy out there. Winds gusting up to about 20 to even 25 miles per hour today. As we do zoom things out, you can see a little more activity farther down toward the south, some showers and even some thunderstorms developing out there today. Now, futurecast, you can see some precipitation off towards the north. Some of that will try to sneak down, but we are going to stay dry today under a partly cloudy sky. Now, more clouds are going to try to sneak down overnight. Some rain showers developing late and lingering into parts of your Thursday, so a chance of rain showers have been added to the forecast for that. And as we head towards Thursday night again, just some clouds, a few rain showers possible. We'll keep the precipitation going into your Friday. Now, since today's going to be dry, we'll have opportunities for sun. UV index forecast for today at a 7. That's high burn time of 30 minutes. Hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and shade will be needed to avoid a bad sunburn. Now, as we do take a look at the wind, gusty winds up to 20 to 25 miles per hour possible today. The wind's backing off for a while overnight, but also notice as we do head towards tomorrow, the winds will be increasing again, reaching up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. For today, partly cloudy and breezy, lower 80s for the high, looking nice though, with that northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. Overnight, mostly cloudy, rain showers moving, upper 40s for the overnight low, north wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tomorrow, some more rain showers, otherwise mostly cloudy, cooling off, low 60s for the high, north wind at about 25 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast. Friday, we'll have a slight chance for rain, otherwise mostly cloudy, highs in the low 60s, mid 50s for the high Saturday. Otherwise, we'll have a chance for rain as well. And then for your Sunday, another chance for rain with temperatures in the mid 60s.
It doesn't matter how big or small my question might be. I know that there's going to be somebody there that can help guide me in the right direction. You're not just an account number to them. You're a person, and it feels like that. I'm a member.
This is what everyone's talking about.
And the slam!
This is Winner Take All.
It's all happening now on the home of the NBA Finals. Don't miss it, June 3rd on ABC and the ESPN app.
We need to shake up Augusta. But who will do it? An insider or an outsider? The insider is Bobby Charles, a D.C. lobbyist for 25 years. The outsider? Jonathan Bush, a conservative businessman and disruptor. Bush is the only candidate who's created hundreds of jobs in Maine while reducing waste and fraud. And Bush will slash your property and income taxes.
I'm Jonathan Bush. Let's shake up Augusta.
Situated in Jonesboro on the coast of Maine lies Barren View Golf Course, a true links course that's a treat for golfers of all skill levels. We feature a driving range, putting green, practice sand trap, pro shop, and snack bar. Open 7 days a week. Please call ahead for a tee time.
Hi, Rich Robichaud from J&J Auto Salvage. Yep, been here 40 years, retiring this year. Turning the reins over to Anthony and the boys. Hope to serve you for another 40 years. The next time you're thinking about saving money on your car, give us a call. We got fenders, doors, motors, transmissions, you name it, whatever it is, we have it. We're down on the Brewer Lake Road. Everything we sell carries a 90-day warranty. And don't forget, best attitude in the business.
Do you come to a credit union to work because you actually like helping people?
You get to be a part of really life-changing moments.
It builds a really rewarding professional career.
And that's why I like credit unions.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Now to that deadly chemical tank rupture in Washington state. The tank was holding 900,000 gallons of hazardous liquid, enough to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool 1.5 times. Several people are still unaccounted for, while other victims are in critical condition. ABC's Lindsay Tuckman has the latest.
This morning, at least one person is dead, 9 people are unaccounted for after a chemical tank at this paper mill in Longview, Washington, ruptured. Images show the crumpled tank and vehicles flipped over and crushed. The substance in the tank is known as white liquor, a mixture of chemicals that can burn the skin or burn the lungs if inhaled.
There are families today that have lost everything, and they never will be able to get back to normal.
The one person confirmed dead was identified by his family as Gilbert Bernal, a grandfather whose son also worked at the mill. Efforts to find other victims have been called off because the chemicals remaining in the tank make it too volatile.
Crews are actively assessing the structural integrity of that tank and working on plans to stabilize that tank before additional recovery operations can safely proceed.
The cause of the rupture, unclear, but the Associated Press reports the company, Nippon Dynawave, has been fined recently for health and safety violations. Meanwhile, some good news overnight regarding a separate chemical scare, this one in Southern California. Evacuation orders have now been lifted for tens of thousands of people living near this aerospace company in Garden Grove after days of concern that a tank storing a toxic, flammable chemical could explode after becoming overheated. A crack in the tank has now relieved the pressure. Lindsay Tuckman, ABC News, New York.
Well, meanwhile, relief aid is on the way to a stricken Ebola area of the Congo, with Europe and the United Nations contributing supplies. The European Union and UNICEF, a key UN relief organization, sent 100 tons to the Ituri province in the Democratic Republic of Congo on Monday. UNICEF says the shipment includes essential medicines, infection prevention and control items, personal protective equipment, cholera and malaria treatment supplies, and more. High-performance tents and related equipment are also being sent. UNICEF says the delivery of supplies is being made difficult by the Congo's unstable security situation and a lack of health services. The supplies are expected to support humanitarian work going to about 100,000 people affected by that outbreak.
Well, President Trump's winning streak continues to stretch even in Texas. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton crushed 4-term Senator John Cornyn in the Republican runoff. Paxton, who's been plagued by a scandal calling Trump's endorsement the most powerful force in politics. And overnight, Cornyn promising to support Paxton in the general election. ABC's Lionel Moyes has the latest.
Overnight, a shakeup in the Republican Party with national implications. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton easily defeating longtime incumbent Senator John Cornyn in their primary runoff after Paxton secured President Trump's endorsement.
When everyone in Washington told him to abandon me and abandon the people of Texas, he didn't listen. Instead, he gave his complete and total endorsement.
After a public service career lasting more than 4 decades and 18 consecutive campaign wins, tonight we've come up short.
Cornyn is the latest in a long line of Republicans to lose his seat after butting heads with Trump. The president dismissed Cornyn as disloyal and supported Paxton despite Paxton's previous scandals, including accusations of misconduct and fraud and an impeachment trial where he was acquitted. Paxton now faces Democrat James Tallarico in November.
The most corrupt politician in America just became the Republican nominee for the United States Senate.
Paxton calling Tallarico a threat to Texans' safety and security. Their race could determine which party controls the U.S. Senate.
I think this is a real gift to Democrats in the state because Ken Paxton, while he may be able to win in a primary, is going to struggle in a general election.
One issue on the campaign trail, allegations Tallarico is vegan. He insists he enjoys barbecue.
And if all they have on me is lying about me being a vegan, I feel pretty good about our chances this November.
While President Trump has been able to sway primary voters, polls show Republicans face an uphill battle in general elections this fall because of the war in Iran and inflation. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
Well, now to NASA unveiling its upcoming mission to the moon, part of a grand plan to send astronauts to work and live on the lunar surface. Sophie Flay with that story.
New images from NASA show the agency's vision to build a sprawling base on the moon with living quarters, power stations, rovers, and drones. It could cover hundreds of square miles and serve as a launch pad to Mars.
We want to be in an environment where we can learn the skills so that astronauts can go and plant the stars and stripes on Mars someday.
The plans announced yesterday come just 6 weeks after the Artemis II mission sent astronauts around the moon for the first time in 50 years. This $20 billion moon base project will unfold in 3 phases. The first, kicking off this year. NASA will use drones and rovers to scout the best sites near the moon's south pole before construction begins in 2029. During that first phase, NASA plans to land on the moon nearly 24 times. And by 2032, it plans to send the first astronauts to live and work on the lunar surface.
With Moonbase, Artemis astronauts will stay longer, explore farther, and conduct the kinds of science that advances exploration itself.
It's an accelerated timeline aimed at outpacing China, which plans to land humans on the moon by 2030. NASA isn't going it alone, announcing new contracts with 4 companies, including Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, which will build a lander to deliver rovers to the moon's surface. Elon Musk's company, SpaceX, is already under contract to build a system that will shuttle astronauts from the moon's orbit to its surface.
We are creating a future where exploration is not just an incredible moment in history, but the first foothold beyond Earth for all of humanity.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Just a matter of time before they have a McDonald's or a Dunkin' Donuts on the moon, you know?
Well, speaking of Dunkin' Donuts, today is Dunkin' is Iced Coffee Day, when $1 from every Dunkin' iced coffee or cold brew, so it has to be an iced drink, $1 gets donated to the Joy in Childhood Foundation, which helps kids battling hunger and illness across our country.
That's great.
I actually went to Dunkin' this morning
Yeah.
and got myself a Dunkin' iced coffee, so
There
I
you
think
go.
it's a good thing to participate in today.
You could enjoy your beverage while knowing it's going to a good cause
Exactly.
today. So.
Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, Maine retirees are actually going back to college.
We'll have that story and more coming up on Good Morning Maine.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
Do you take propane tank?
Anything goes.
How about cardboard?
Anything goes.
How about old rug?
Yeah, anything goes.
So this too?
Furniture removal, basements, garages, attics, hoarder houses. It doesn't matter here at Anything Goes Junk Removal. Anything goes. Well, almost anything.
Step inside. Sit back. Kick back. Make yourself comfy. Make yourself cozy. Make life simple by choosing Patriot Homes to build and customize your new modular home. From decks, kitchen, and baths, remodeling garages, roofing, and siding. Let us help you design, plan, and build your dream home today. At your door and at your service, Patriot Homes, Eastern Maine's premier home builder.
Family Feud asks, what were they thinking?
When I die, forget the stairway to heaven. I want to ride that house. I want to ride that house. I want to ride that house.
I want to swim there.
You do know, according to scripture, the last time people had to swim wasn't nobody going to heaven.
Thinking about fun? Watch Family Feud.
All the black people will swim. Why would he do that?
Weekdays at 9 on ABC 7.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Wednesday, May 27th, 2026, and it is also Nothing to Fear Day.
Fear is a natural and necessary survival response, but it can also hold us back. When we let fear rule our lives, we see the world differently and we become more cautious and timid. Nothing to Fear Day is a time to evaluate ourselves and identify where our fears are. It's a big step toward challenging ourselves to tackle our fears and stop doing things that keep us from living our best lives.
So very true.
It is.
You know, a lot of people ask me what my biggest fear is, and it's public speaking, believe it or not.
I know, and you're right here talking.
I get anxious, anxiety, and all that stuff, and yet I do this, but I've struggled with it over the years.
Yeah.
You know, but I am proof that if you challenge yourself and you really want to do something, you can get through it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, I think it's always good for us to find our fears and overcome them.
Yeah.
And the next time you have to do something similar, you're a lot more prepared and ready for it.
Maybe it's snakes, maybe it's something else,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, there's ways you can overcome it.
Definitely.
All right, let's get to history now. It was on this day in history. Back in 1897, the first copies of the classic vampire novel Dracula by Bram Stoker appeared in London bookshops for the very first time. Dracula used to scare the heck out of me, too,
really?
when I was a kid. In 1930, New York's Chrysler Building opened up to the public. At the time, it was the world's tallest building, but the title was taken away the following year when the Empire State Building was completed. And in 1937, the newly completed Golden Gate Bridge connecting San Francisco and Marin County, California, was open to pedestrian traffic. It was open to vehicles the following day, and it took 5 years to build, and 11 people died during its construction.
Oh, wow. In 1941, the British Navy sank the German battleship Bismarck, one of the largest ever built. In 1968, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the conviction of David O'Brien for destroying his draft card outside of the Boston courthouse. It ruled the act was not protected by freedom of speech. And in 1998, Michael Fortier, the government's star witness in the Oklahoma City bombing case, was sentenced to 12 years in prison. He knew about the plot to blow up the building before it even happened and apologized for not warning anyone about that deadly plot.
He could have saved a lot of people that day.
Definitely.
All right, for birthdays today, they include actor Paul Bettany. He's 55 years old today. Actress Lily Rose Depp is 27. And musician Andre 3000. He is 51 years old and still shaking it like a Polaroid picture.
I love that.
Yeah.
Lily Rose looks just like Johnny,
Doesn't
I think.
she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like identical.
That's quite a crew we got there.
Definitely.
Yeah, happy birthday to you, too, if your birthday is today.
We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. This morning, we have a little bit of energy passing through, bringing with it a few rain showers. We are getting those out of here, and we will be on the dry side as we do push forward today. As we do zoom things out, the rest of the Northeast looking pretty good. Some rain showers, though, and a few thunderstorms as you head farther down toward the south. As we do take a look at things with Futurecast, we are going to become partly cloudy. Notice a little bit of rain farther off towards the north, but partly cloudy for us today. And again, looking farther down in time, we are going to watch for a little bit of rain later on overnight and as we head towards your Thursday. As for gusty winds, we are going to reach up to about 25 miles per hour today. The winds are going to back off later on tonight, and as we head towards tomorrow, the winds are going to increase yet again. So for today, low 80s, partly cloudy and breezy, and that northwest wind reaching up to about 25 miles per hour. Later on tonight, upper 40s, mostly cloudy, rain showers, north breeze at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. The hourly forecast moving forward, here we go, a partly to possibly mostly cloudy sky, temperatures in the 70s and 80s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Thank you, Devin. Look at that. Another great day.
It is. Yeah. Nice and sunny. Well, still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports.
Don't go away.
ABC 7, Fox 22. The place we call home, telling main stories wherever you roam. From sunrise shores to forests of pine, hard work, strong hearts, values that shine. From old towns to harbors, back roads to ocean blue. Neighbors helping neighbors in all that we do. Through storms and clear skies, day after day, we're here with the stories that matter in Maine. From mountains to sea, standing strong and true. This is Maine, this is home on ABC 7, Fox 22.
ABC 7 and Fox 22's Jack Webb named Maine's Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association.
Welcome back in, folks. We'll start with the Celtics. Even though their season ended just under a month ago, the C's made news on Tuesday night. Joe Mazzulla was named NBA Coach of the Year for the 2025-26 season. He led the Celtics to a 56 wins and a number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference amidst what was supposed to be a down year for the Celtics without Jason Tatum for the first 3 quarters of the season. The Celtics did, of course, end up blowing a 3-1 series lead in the first round to the 76ers, but the awards are based on the regular season. Well, we will begin with a high-stakes doubleheader between the Herman Hawks and Ellsworth Eagles. We'll kick things off with softball. Hawks looking to get their 10th win of the year, but this one starts very defensive. Cameron Clough with a beautiful strikeout to end the top of the first inning. No runs allowed. Now here's a hit from the Eagles, but Hawks pitcher Mikel Ferrero with the cleanup and the toss to first for the out. Again, no runs allowed. Our first base hit of the day comes from Ellsworth. It's Clough who hits this one, and she makes it to first base, but Verrill is able to close it out before Herman can score. A big hit for Herman in the second inning, but tracking it down is going to be Abigail Doyle. Clean catch and the out in the fourth inning. We're going to have our first score of the ball game. My goodness, it was a good one. Ellsworth's Lily Valley with a deep hit. It's dropped, and a missed throw allows her to score the inside the park homer. But Herman comes back and wins 2-1 in 9 innings. Let's make the switch to baseball now. Same matchup, same location. We pick it up in the 4th. Ellsworth up 3-0. The Hawks. Tommy Meserve hits this one out towards first, but an error by the Eagles allows him to take his base. On the next hit, Ellsworth is able to clean it up and get the massive out at second. They close that inning out with no score. Hawks start hitting more consistently in the 5th inning, but look at this play from Coleman Welch. Stretches to get the ball and makes the play at first. Just an unreal stretch there. In the 6th inning we go. A wild pitch from Ellsworth sends Meserve home to make it a 3-1 game. That score gets closer too when Ellsworth walks a Hawks batter with the bases loaded. Landon Wood walks it in. It's 3-2, but Ellsworth sends in the closer, Jackson Berry, in the top of the 7th. He closes out in out number 3. Ellsworth improves to 13-1. We bring it back to Bangor now at Husson, where the John Bapst hosted Waterville. We pick it up in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Bapst up 3-0. Felix Chase gets the strikeout to end the inning. Next frame, Waterville, though, looking to get the offense going. Oliver Levin drops down a great bunt, not only moving a runner from first to second, but he's safe at first himself. Next batter, Colby Haggerty, he gets the strikeout as he's trying to shut down a Waterville rally. But the following batter was Harper Hubbard, and he rips the RBI single to shallow left center, getting Waterville on the board. They now trail just 3-1, but in the 5th, the Crusaders would add to their lead. Waterville looking to turn on a double play, but the throw to first is off the mark, and Logan Martin gets home to score as John Bapst goes on to get the win on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. We'll now take a look at some other scores from around the area. In baseball, Coney with a big 10-6 win over Tacoma. Staying in baseball, Dexter picks up a slight 2-1 win over Bucksport. Caribou with a 7-3 victory over Fort Kent, and Old Town rolling over rival Orono 12-0 there. And then in softball, Bangor Christian with a 10-0 shutout of Central. Sumner with a 15-0 shutout of Searsport. Lawrence just edges out Gardner 4-3. Then Penquist Valley 14. They doubled up Stearns, who had 7. Well, Knicks fever is running rampant around the country as New York Knicks have reached the finals for the first time since 1999. New York completed the sweep of Cleveland on Monday night, winning 130-93 to secure the Eastern Conference title. They've now secured their spot in the NBA Finals for the first time in 27 years, which feels like an eternity for a basketball city like New York. Jalen Brunson has led the way for the Knicks while winning Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He says he hasn't even fully processed how his team has brought back basketball buzz to the Big Apple.
It means a lot, and it's something I haven't really put into perspective and thought about, because as I said before, now we're still writing our story, and so I think in due time I'll be able to answer that in full entirety. But I like the journey that we're on right now.
Knicks fans, good luck trying to get in the Garden. Those prices are pretty absurd for the finals. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. We're right back after the break.
With Spectrum, this summer I'll never miss. Never miss Brazilian flair.
I feel incredible.
German grit. Argentinian passion. Or good old American hustle. Because with Spectrum TV, I've got over $100 worth of my favorite streaming apps included at no extra cost with live TV. And with Spectrum Internet, I've got the best experience to stream live sports. I never miss.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
This Nissan lineup goes where you take it. Vehicles built with oomph, torque, traction, and yeah, full control. That's the power of a Nissan. Now's the time to drive. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality. Well-qualified buyers get 0% APR on select model trims or get up to $4,750 total savings on Frontier.
Everyone, a lot of Maine retirees are heading back to the classroom simply for the joy of learning.
Our Jody Hersey explains.
Retirees and folks 50 years of age and older are carving time out for themselves to learn a new skill through the Penobscot Valley Senior College. It's a branch of the Maine Senior College Network.
I've gone back to art, everything I didn't have time to do while I was teaching. And so I've gone back to, I paint, I draw. Now I'm going to carve.
Penobscot Valley Senior College was founded back in 2002 when some of the professors who retired from the University of Maine wanted to take each other's classes. Now the 501c3 offers lifelong learning opportunities to the public through volunteer instructors.
People fear that it's going to be a lot of work, and it isn't. You can do as much or as little as you want to.
Classes vary from courses on the U.S. Supreme Court to walking tours of downtown Bangor, even spoon carving and rustic furniture making. Participants say the very best part is there's no homework or tests.
Focusing on form and design is a really good antidote to political pressure right now. And it's an antidote to AI.
I think it's a really good way to spend your time, especially as we get older.
To join the Penobscot Senior College costs $25 per person, and each course is offered at $35. To learn more, log on to pvscmaine.org. In Bangor, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
What a great program.
Yeah,
Nothing like learning a new skill.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, and what a unique concept.
Right.
Well, now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. Wave height's not looking too bad. At around 3 to 4 feet, a little bit higher further off towards the north and east, but no advisories in effect for us at this moment in time. A little bit higher further out towards sea at around 4 to 5 feet, but overall the ocean behaving this morning. Meanwhile, as we do check things out, again, the rain tapering off. We are going to be dry today, partly cloudy, a little bit breezy out there. Winds gusting up to about 20 to even 25 miles per hour today. As we do zoom things out, you can see a little more activity farther down toward the south, some showers and even some thunderstorms developing out there today. Now, futurecast, you can see some precipitation off towards the north. Some of that will try to sneak down, but we are going to stay dry today under a partly cloudy sky. Now, more clouds are going to try to sneak down overnight. Some rain showers developing late and lingering into parts of your Thursday, so a chance of rain showers have been added to the forecast for that. And as we head towards Thursday night again, just some clouds, a few rain showers possible. We'll keep the precipitation going into your Friday. Now, since today's going to be dry, we'll have opportunities for sun. UV index forecast for today at a 7. That's high, burn time of 30 minutes. Hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and shade will be needed to avoid a bad sunburn. Now, as we do take a look at the wind, gusty winds up to 20 to 25 miles per hour possible today. The wind's backing off for a while overnight, but also notice as we do head towards tomorrow, the winds will be increasing again, reaching up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. For today, partly cloudy and breezy, lower 80s for the high, looking nice though, with that northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. Overnight, mostly cloudy, rain showers moving, upper 40s for the overnight low, north wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tomorrow, some more rain showers, otherwise mostly cloudy, cooling off, low 60s for the high, north wind at about 25 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast. Friday, we'll have a slight chance for rain, otherwise mostly cloudy, highs in the low 60s, mid 50s for the high Saturday. Otherwise, we'll have a chance for rain as well. And then for your Sunday, another chance for rain with temperatures in the mid 60s.
Foggy's Pub, your place for fun, food, and friends in Palmyra, Maine.
We can go into a room and have absolutely nothing in there, nothing on the windows, no color, no character, no tone to a room.
That's, I think, where we're strongest, is being able to help someone envision what's going to go in that window.
And we leave, it's totally transformed into something that the customer wants it to be. We've often been told we make a room look better just by leaving it.
Need a safe and caring place for your loved one during the day? At the Merchant Center Adult Day program, we provide a supportive environment where adults can enjoy companionship, engaging activities, and personalized care in a setting that feels like home. Our experienced staff is committed to meeting each person's unique needs while promoting independence, dignity, and overall well-being. Families can feel confident knowing their loved ones are in compassionate, capable hands.
Ladies, a Maine adventure.
It's spring in Maine, and whether it's warm or cold, Rennie's has you covered.
Carhartt shorts, Sun Defender t-shirts, pants, sweatshirts, and sweatpants. You name it, we got it.
Thank you for shopping Rennie.
July 4th, 24 hours non-stop, live all across the country. We are all a part of this history. And when the country comes together to celebrate, this is where it happens. Disney celebrates America 250.
Police in Texas helped capture a kangaroo. The Waco Police Department shared video of officers and a man with a net chasing a kangaroo. Police say the kangaroo was returned home safe and sound. It is the second time the kangaroo has made a run for it after 2 kangaroos escaped from Waco Wildlife Rescue back on September 2nd. Probably they're getting a little experience with it now, but not something you expect to see all the time.
Yeah, it would be really hard to try to chase after them because I'd imagine they're so fast.
They are fast, and
like, you know, you're running around with a net and they just keep running.
They can apparently beat you up too.
Yeah, oh, that's
so
true. They're
like
a little
box.
scary.
Yeah, glad it's doing okay.
Yes. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22.
Thanks for being there, everyone. We hope you have a great day.
Starts to sting. Those buggers will just about carry you away, turning a quiet walk into not today. If you need to know if the wind will blow, ABC 7 and Fox 22 are the ones to know. No safe place when they're around. And at night, when you're sleeping sound, the hum of the swarm still hangs around to track the heat and the weather too. We rely on ABC 7 and Fox 22. Be another bite for what's ahead. Warm sun and summer days instead. Season has
does it say?
All across America.
Good morning.
Good morning. Wherever we are, it feels like home.
Man, it's good to be home.
GMA, it's an invitation to come together and brighten your morning.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Good morning, America. All eyes on Texas ahead of the midterms. The deadly incident
worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, investigators have ruled the Robbins lumber mill fire and explosion in Searsmont as accidental. We'll bring you the details coming up.
Plus, Mental Health Waldo Hospital, or Maine Health Waldo Hospital, has been recognized for their pediatric care. We'll have more on that ahead as well.
And the town of Searsport will be transforming their wharf after a series of damaging storms. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday morning. We'll have those stories and all the day's news coming up. But first, to check out that forecast, it's already starting out to be a beautiful morning out there.
It is.
And it's going to be another great day ahead.
Yeah, nice and sunny and high temps.
Yeah.
We'll turn things over to meteorologist Stephen Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa.